I often come here with other older people to admire the lake. Its beauty enchants and brings back memories of my misspent childhood. Life wasn't easy as a kid in Shenton Park, and I had a rocky start. My early life is a tale of mischief and drama, beginning in a boys' home. This is a story of my youthful misadventures and the trials of growing up. It started with spending my very young years on a family farm in Dalwallinu. My parents, John and Phyllis, didn't get along with each other, and I never did see my dad again for some 26 years later, and only once. My mother couldn't support us on her own. She had to put my brothers David, Barry and myself into a boys' home in Shenton Park, referred to as the Salvation Army Nedlands Boys' Home. I was 3 years old at the time. Some things stand out in my memory from this early period.
Hey, that's for big boys. Not
no,
runs
go
like
away!
you.
Go away! No! No, please!
I recall the Guy Fawkes bonfire on 5th of November. An enormous pyramid of wood was collected with an effigy Guy Fawkes on top to be ignited in front of a crowd of spectators along Smythe Road, where they gathered each year. Then the fireworks were ignited. We had great fun with cricket, collecting skinks, playing pirates, and I was also the top boy in the gymnastics pyramid, being very small and young and light in weight. We had great fun with pillow fights. I remember well the ablution block building with its freezing cold winter showers, and the formidable army officer armed with a large wooden scrubbing brush. My mother fortunately met George Burgess of Onslow Road, Shenton Park, and they were married here in St Matthew's Church in 1948. This is the house that we moved into as a family when Mother married George Burgess. It is interesting to note the original toilet block is still here after we moved into the property some 63 years ago. Our stepdad George was a soldier in both wars. His uniform and riding crop hung in our bedroom. I got to know that riding crop very well, as it was often liberally applied on my backside and legs. As a child, I often looked through George's picture books on World War I. Those mementos helped me to make me conscious of the immense sacrifices and contribution of our soldiers to our country. George was in the 6th Light Horse, he was a horseman in the 6th Light Horse of Adelaide during the Great War, from 1914 to 1918. Like most soldiers, his life was tough during the war, and he rarely spoke of it. War influenced my life. We often went to the Shenton Park Picture Theatre and saw the black and white newsreels of the war in Korea. Shortly afterwards, we saw an older, former Rosalie boy, now a soldier, full kit, heading off to the Korean War. It made the war meaningful and immediate. Wars were often on my mind with visits to Kings Park. I was a regular visitor to Lemnos War Veterans Hospital, This hospital serviced the needs of returned servicemen suffering from shell shock in World War I. We used to climb up the large water tank and swim in it, and we could notice the soldiers and the nurses taking good care of them around the verandas in the complex. The hospital was built in 1926, and the plaque was laid by Colonel Sir William Campion, Knight Commander, Governor of Western Australia, for the welfare of soldiers who suffered in the Great War. It was built in 1926, approximately 8 years after the returning soldiers from the Great War. Only one Aleppo pine remains, brought back as a seed from Lemnos in Greece, in the Mediterranean, where the servicemen were recuperating before coming back to Australia. Today, the old Lemnos hospital buildings are part of the Shenton College. As a child, I spent considerable time in the Children's Hospital, now Princess Margaret. This was when diphtheria and polio were rampant, and a few young people lived their lives in iron lungs. Some of my fellow students tragically died. In these days, before antibiotics, patients were placed in the Infectious Diseases Hospital, now part of Shenton Park Rehabilitation Hospital. We moved from Onslow Road, Shenton Park, to this lovely home in Herbert Road in 1953. My stepfather, George Burgess, was a building contractor, and he built the home here, a very large home on 2 blocks. And we enjoyed having the larger home with far more grounds to play and have fun, and we even had a dining room which accommodated all of us, whereas in Onslow Road we had to eat in shifts. Here we had space to eat as a whole family, and even enough money for a maid and to go on family expeditions. We made excursions to Luna Park in Scarborough, and also Freshwater Bay in Peppermint Grove, where we frequently went fishing. We even took the ferry to Garden Island. We visited the wreck of the Kwinana, where we believed a large man-eating octopus dwelled. Mother took us to Perth, where we visited the stores, bones, foys, beds and moors, and watched the shop's vacuum tube transport documents with interest. We occasionally bought a comic which we shared happily. Shenton Lake, now renamed Lake Jurubub, has provided sustenance to the Aboriginal people and their culture since time immemorial. It was a watering place when owned by James Dyson and known as Dyson Swamp, and was a stopover for travellers with their camels en route to the goldfields. The lake was eventually sold to a parliamentarian, George Shenton, and became known as Shenton Lake. In the 1930s, the lake was twice its present size approximately, and was considered a permanent water basin. This is the pumping station, 1929, responsible for some of the drying out of the lake. And just slightly to the north we have the wildlife sign for the turtles, which the Flood family have placed these signs around the lake for many years at their own cost and hard work, and which the residents are most grateful to that family for. Work has been continually done on the lake over the years. It's progressively changed from a pocket wilderness to today's garden-style European English park. I was a regular visitor to Shenton Lake, my Eldorado. Here I became part of a closely knit gang of youthful regulars, the Rosalie boys, who regularly met around this waterhole. We made our own boats, fought naval battles, played in the water, caught turtles, climbed trees, built forts, swam, had tugs of war, played ball, jumped and enjoyed the bird and wildlife. We enjoyed daily fun-filled routines at the lake during our wonderful, lazy, carefree times. The days included cricket, kites, marbles, balls, skipped stones and bows and arrows. Others enjoyed the lake as well. We were all part of a cohesive band of carefree youth. When punished, we'd usually seek out our friends and meet at the lake to commiserate on our misfortunes. The still waters and the waterfowl contributed to my sense of renewal and well-being. From the lake we'd launch expeditions. We would steal milk or collect fruit from the surrounding properties. We'd enter backyards, collect mulberries, apples or anything in season. Occasionally we were chased and caught, given some advice and smacked.
That looks so good. Where'd you get it?
I actually got it just behind us in Mrs. Tweedy's house. It's like really easy to get some if you guys want to, do a raid.
Okay.
Sure. Sounds good. So, just be careful.
Come on! Quick!
Go!
Hey! I told you boys not to steal my apples. You stay out of my yard!
Many people had fruit trees and almond trees and nut trees in their backyard. I loved watching the steam trains on their way from Fremantle to Perth. While we waited, we'd swap empty cigarette packages for our albums. Once, to my shame, I even placed 303 bullets on the track and watched the engine run over them. With the Rosalie boys, I explored the environs. Life was an adventure. We were regular visitors at Crawley Baths, where with great trepidation I'd leap from the high board. We'd launch parachutes from the top of Winthrop Tower. Then we'd head off to see the dogs home, the cemetery, and, terrified of the lunatics, we'd run past Greylands Hospital. We'd view the waterfowl of Perry Lakes. Here we'd admire the scenery and explore the limestone quarries of Raybold Hill. We'd often stop off for a swim at Cottesloe Beach, diving from the pylon. Sometimes we got into nasty mischief.
I'm gonna throw my stone right over there on the roof, gonna get it right on the gap. Well, I'm just trying to upset the masons. Right.
What are you gonna do if he comes out?
Run. This should get their attention.
This will annoy them.
Remember the last time we did this? We filled it with dog poo. Oh, that was so funny. Got a face full of it.
Imagine what he was thinking.
Probably thought he could snag a $20 note.
My brothers and I took up racing pushcarts, then bicycles. Then we rode down back lane. Eventually we raced at Claremont, where my brother David won many awards until he died in a motorcycle accident in 1962. Rosalie School was built in 1906, and the construction behind me, the annex, was built several years later, and that was my first classroom at primary school. It's fortunate that I attended Rosalie Primary School, as I was quite mischievous. As I grew, I'd steal away to the bushland for forbidden activities.
Relight it.
So what am I meant?
We want smoke.
You breathe in the smoke and then you can puff it out.
I think it's lit now, guys.
Really? Oh, that's good. You guys, this is so good. You should try it. I will. You want to have a puff? No. Okay. I don't want to get in trouble. Maybe later.
Okay.
Yeah. I just hope the teachers don't smell smoke on me.
Yeah.
You want a puff?
Consequently, I was a regular candidate for caning.
The first one is for wagging school. The second one is for coming to school with smoke on your breath. That'll teach you not to do that again.
I recall the holidays, special events of the time, regattas, the Jubilee celebrations of 1951, the coronation of 1953, and the visit by the Queen in 1954 and 1956. This rose garden memorialises the wonderful teachers such as Miss Lipford and others who instilled such good manners into us. It also includes innumerable paving bricks with the names of former students thereon throughout the whole of the actual garden area. Yet in spite of their dedicated efforts, we used every opportunity to get away. I used to steal off from the school to visit an empty mansion near Kings Park. It made us feel like aristocracy and was a grand adventure. But too soon we had finished primary school and were working part-time. My first job was selling newspapers. Then I worked at the Shenton Park bakery delivering bread with a horse-drawn cart. I next delivered ice to people's homes. In those pre-fridge days, putting the heavy, rigid blocks in ice boxes in the early mornings. I was growing up. After I finished primary school, I was permitted more freedom. I got to visit Perth on Saturdays to watch movies with the gang. Many of these places are gone. I attended the glamorous Ambassadors Theatre with its pretty usherettes. Occasionally I danced at Canterbury Court Ballroom and the Embassy Ballroom. On the way home we'd stop off at Bethel Thurston, a hardware store, staring enviously at its impressive large Bowie and other knives. We'd watch Percy Button do his acrobats. Later we'd watch Bob Dye on TV.
Barry, name the first two presidents of the United States of America.
First two? I can name all 34.
I wish we had time.
I attended this school for 1 year, namely the West Perth Junior Technical School in Newcastle Street, West Perth, to learn building in order to help my stepfather George. More studious Rosalie students went to the Perth Boys High School on James Street, Northbridge. One highlight was teasing the ladies of the night on Rose Street, who would try to throw buckets of water on us. Following the death of my stepdad in 1956, we moved away from Shenton Park to Wembley, and I slowly lost contact with the lake and my old friends. I joined the North Cottesloe and later the Floreat Surf Lifesaving Clubs, and then became an avid surfer at Margaret River. I even travelled to Hawaii to surf the big waves. Time moves on, but many aspects of my Shenton Park environs remain as I explore it today. I still enjoy the she-oak, banksias, the almost impenetrable bushland, kangaroo paws, wildflowers and the majestic chewits. The wattles are still all there, so is the small pine plantation. Later, I got married, raised a family of 2 successful children whom I'm very proud of, and purchased this lovely home very close to my place of employment. I still work successfully at 70 years of age for Acton Real Estate Dalkeith as a senior sales consultant. The lake remains with its prolific animal and bird life. Enjoyed by young children and old alike. I still visit Shenton Park today with great interest in the real estate, particularly so between north and south of Onslow Road, where I notice a great volume more of the workers' cottages south of Onslow rather than north. Like this late Federation home. These homes were larger, more expensive and designed for the middle class. Due to its close proximity to Perth, Shenton Park has achieved considerable rises in real estate values over the recent years. One notable building, the Shenton Park Hotel, built in 1907, was established to draw trade from the Subiaco Football Club at Shenton Lake. I have been informed the crest in the gable is, the centrepiece is a football with the sash across it. The football was originally in maroon and the sash was yellow, depicting the colours of the Subiaco Football Club and their crest. It has played an important part in my life. Here I had my first taste of liquor bought from an old soldier. Recently, this hotel has been the site of Rosalie school reunions. These reunions are aged Rosalie primary school students and are held annually. They're attended by Rosalie alumni, some of whom have become famous. There's, for instance, Sir Charles Court, former Premier of Western Australia. The reunions give me an opportunity to re-establish contact with Rosalie friends. These reunions bring back memories of earlier times when we were carefree, healthy youth in Shenton Park. Like me, many reunionists wish they could call back to the lake. Yet few of the boys of the lake make the pilgrimage, and I've lost contact with most of them. Some sadly have permanent addresses. Today, when I visit the lake, I reflect how I wish to turn back the hands of time, live my adventurous youth by the lake, and once again hear the laughter and the shouts of friends, those indomitable Rosalie boys of the lake.